Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Founders Grid, sponsored by Caper.io. Today we have Tudor. Tudor is the founder at RebelDot. Tudor, welcome to the show.
Hi, nice to meet you.
So, give us a background about yourself before starting RebelDot 2 years back.
I studied computer science back 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And while I was a student, I started working as a developer for an American company. And afterwards, I met some guys that has the startup in the US and decided to open together the subsidiary of their company here in Romania. So that's how I started. And after 10 years in that business, we decided together to split the business, and I founded RebelDot, which is consulting custom software development company.
Interesting. So, what's the journey been like so far from the early days to building teams to marketing and sales? What's it been all about?
So it was quite interesting as when I started, I was managing the local team of the American company. So I was hiring and working with developers locally. Initially, some of my colleagues, and then some others. But all the kind of initially all the project management, all the marketing, all the sales, practically all the product was driven from the United States. And then as we added in 2012 consulting to the mix and started working with clients outside the group directly from Romania, I also started doing business development, sales, marketing. So kind of having everything consulting business would have. We've always worked with companies in Western Europe and the USA mainly. So it's been always kind of remote work for us as a team.
So, uh, Corona, unfortunate times, but it has acted as a catalyst for multiple businesses, software, engineering ones as well, right?
Yep.
So, going forward, how do you see the remote software engineering business? How do you perceive it?
Yeah, so this is a quite interesting topic and quite interesting times. We've been really open as a company from the beginning. So since 2008, and probably because we were students and I was student, and most of my colleagues in the company were students initially, we had a flexible schedule and we accepted work from home. So that was quite unique back then. And since then, through Impresio, my previous company, and then through RebelDot, we always had a work from home policy. So our employees were allowed to work from home when they wanted to. And I've done it also a few times, but it wasn't something that we were encouraging. So now with Corona, and all of a sudden, so it was like from one week to the other, we decided that everyone works from home. It was quite easy for us because we had the processes in place and we knew how to do it. Only we've never done it at scale. We were all set up with laptops, with cloud infrastructure, and so on. So it was quite easy for us. What I can say is that once we go back to the office, and I don't know whether that's going to be within a week or a year, and I tend to believe it's going to be the second one. It's going to be working from home is going to be much more kind of easier and familiar. And one thing we'll know is that it works. So we are not going to have any reluctance in that perspective. Now, as far as other companies go, I think the larger the company, the harder to adapt in this period. And especially, I'm thinking of large software development companies that have thousands of developers working from the office without a work from home policy and with desktop computers. I think it was quite hard for them to adapt in this period.
Got it. So, last question, Tudor. So, What do you think are the three key elements of how to manage remote teams in a better and efficient way?
Yeah, so it depends. It depends a lot whether, in my opinion at least, it depends a lot whether you know that team and you've worked with it or not. So in our case, as we've had the team and we've worked with the people and we've onboarded just a few new colleagues in the meanwhile, the trust factor was there already. Everyone knew the processes, so we knew how to work together. The only difference is we don't meet face to face in the meeting room. We meet on Zoom, WebEx, or whatever tool a few times a day. So I believe it's quite important for communication to be clear, to use tools that help interaction. For example, we've started using whiteboarding tools, things that we haven't used before because we were using the whiteboard in the office. And probably the most important thing is in trying to move from kind of hourly work towards work on deliverables. And I think this works most when forming kind of a new team or working with new collaborators or people. You can agree on, okay, this is the deliverable. The collaborator is going to say, okay, this is the cost, and it's going to be done by then. And then you just know, okay, I have what I need by that date, instead of trying to track hours. I think in the hours tracking, trust is very important, and then also having some kind of measures, some kind of KPIs. If it's developers, it could be velocity. If it's sales and marketing, probably some numbers like leads generated and so on.
God.
But it's definitely trust is number one, as you can't be in everyone's home and check what they are doing, whether they are working or not. But what I can say is that in this period, we've seen an increase in productivity compared to the period before. So we are definitely lacking the social interaction, but we see employees that are much more focused.
God. Okay, Tudor, thank you so much for being on the show. It was really insightful, but my marketing team tells me we have to keep it within 7 to 8 minutes. Otherwise,
Okay,
because of all the content it keeps dropping. But thank you so much for being on the show. Stay safe, stay healthy, and take
thank you. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.